Welcome Maxky Movies Recaps. Stephanie, a 9-year-old girl who has been abandoned by her parents, lives alone in her house with her only friend, Frances the Turtle. Her normal day involves watching cartoons, playing the piano, preparing smoothies, and spending time with Frances. One day, Stephanie hears a sudden noise coming from upstairs, and she rushes to find a ball dropping as if someone is inviting her to play. She yells at the person and returns to the kitchen, where she steps on a broken piece of glass, causing her to scream in pain. However, as there is no one to look after her, she quickly regroups and limps upstairs. Later at night, Stephanie prepares dinner for 4 people in the family, 2 for her parents and the other 2 for her brother and herself. She then reads a tale to her doll Frances. The next morning, Stephanie places Frances on the floor and urges him to play hide and seek. She then hides inside a makeshift tent, where she hears a dangerous creature's sound coming from outside the house. Terrified, Stephanie closes her mouth and tries to remain quiet. The monster hurls near Stephanie but leaves when it doesn't see anyone. Stephanie eventually comes out of her tent and approaches the window to look at the creature, but she sees no one and deduces that the creature has escaped in the nearby woods. In the afternoon, Stephanie notices her pet rabbit, Mr. Hopper, wandering around the garden. She asks him to wait for a while and prepares food for him. She then tries to lure Mr. Hopper back inside but fails. The electricity suddenly cuts off, making Stephanie scared. She rushes to her brother, Paul, and holds his hand, which looks pale and weak, as if he is already dead. Stephanie hears a loud bang by the window, scaring the life out of her. She finds blood all over the place and blames Paul for the rabbit's death and the departure of their parents. The following night, it is raining and the power cuts off again. Stephanie goes to the basement to get candles and notices the washing machine shaking violently. Afraid, she runs straight to her makeshift tent and sleeps. Late at night, Stephanie hears someone opening the door and assumes someone has managed to sneak inside the house. When lightning occurs, she is surprised to find her parents, Eric and Jane, returning to visit her. After reunited with her parents, Stephanie is awake and stares at her mother from behind, with dot-like scars on her belly. Stephanie, a young girl, witnesses her father carrying wooden blocks to prepare a fence around her house to protect it from a monster. She rushes to her brother's room but finds his corpse there. She then walks into the woods to search for him, but finds that his parents have already buried him near the backyard. Angry, Stephanie tries to dig out the body with her hands, but is called by her parents. Her mother, Jane, urges her to never step out of the fence without their permission. The next morning, Stephanie asks her mom why she left her alone in the house. Jane replies that it was not her choice because they had assumed that Stephanie was also captured by the monster. Stephanie tells her mother that the monster lives in the woods and will attack them whenever there is chaos or noise inside the house. She also mentions that one should remain silent and calm when the monster enters the house. Later at night, the dead body of Paul is brought back to the house by an unseen force. Both the parents are sad to see this, as they had just buried him with heavy hearts. Stephanie reacts normally as if nothing has happened. During dinner, she asks Eric if the monster brought her brother back, and Eric confirms it. He also tells Stephanie that the monster is after her and will follow them wherever they go. Stephanie secretly enters her mother's room and finds numerous newspaper articles posted on a board, including little children like her committing heinous crimes. She learns that Jane is actually studying brain surgery and its procedures. She hides under the table while Jane rushes into the room, causing Stephanie to hide under the table. Eric approaches Stephanie, telling her that the monster is not an external force, but only the result of her bad feelings. Stephanie agrees, but in return, asks her father why she was left alone. Eric becomes emotional and whispers that he was afraid and had no idea what to do to save his family. Stephanie hears her parents discussing ways to keep her under control, with Eric believing that Stephanie can control her emotions while Jane thinks otherwise. She suggests they perform a brain procedure, but Eric opposes it due to high risks. Stephanie returns to her room to sleep. In her dream, Stephanie hears a strange sound coming from the other side of the entrance door. She opens the door, finds her father's ghost, and wakes up from her nightmare. However, she is pulled by the same unseen force, and she jumps from the window, injuring herself. Jane pulls Stephanie down from the ladder, but their troubles are far from over. Stephanie wakes up and apologizes to her parents for running out of the house without their permission. Eric comforts her and reveals that she has a monster controlling her activities and mind. He hypnotizes Stephanie and asks her about what she did to Paul, which led to her attacking him with tentacles. Jane calms her down with a vaccine. The parents take Stephanie to an operation room, where she wants to remove the monster by conducting brain surgery. However, before the procedure can begin, the possessed little girl regains consciousness and destroys the lab with her powers. The next scene shows Eric watching the news, which mentions that a medical procedure for treating children like Stephanie has failed, leading to the only remaining option being to euthanize the children suffering from this rare condition. In the morning, Stephanie acts as if nothing has happened, while the parents plot to kill her by poisoning her hot chocolate. Eric asks Stephanie to accompany him for a walk into the woods, but before she can drink it, her telekinesis power throws the sipper away and her face turns blue. She tries to control herself but fails, compelling Eric to shoot her multiple times. The next day, when he buries Stephanie's body, she throws him in the air with her telekinesis power. She then kills Eric with a knife and breaks Jane's bones, killing them instantly. In the last scene, Stephanie destroys the whole house with her telekinesis powers, drags her parents' bodies outdoors, and abandons them at Paul's grave. She also destroys other properties in the neighborhood after dropping and stepping on her toy turtle, allegedly to demonstrate her takeover by the Force. The movie ends with an aerial shot of the entire Earth ravaged by deadly fires, indicating that several other telekinetic children are alive and kicking. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more video.